Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Just go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Jim Schwartz has not historically shadowed his top cornerback on top receivers. Jamar Chase is playing better than any receiver in football this year. Two-part question. A, will we see Jim Schwartz change up his philosophy and allow Denzel to shadow Jamar Chase? And part two, if he doesn't, is Jamar Chase going to have 500 yards on Miles Harden, Cam Mitchell, Khalif Halasi, and whoever else they have on the other side of the field? Is there any chance they could stop him if it's not Denzel? Bull, it's your guy. You want to start us off?
I'll tell you, Denzel has played better against Jamar Chase than any cornerback. He's done a really nice job against him. But, the way Jamar Chase is playing right now, he's been pretty unstoppable against anybody. I'm expecting him to have look at that. He has a chance to win the triple crown of receivers, which not a lot of guys have done.
Only happened 4 times ever before.
Yeah.
I could have taken him in our fantasy draft, and I took Anthony Richardson instead.
I've got him on my other team, and I'm 12-2 with him.
I got him in one of my
He's
playoffs.
been a fantasy.
Brutal.
Especially the last, 6 weeks.
Yep.
So, listen, we know what the Browns do. They don't have one guy shadow a guy. So, yeah, Denzel will challenge him sometimes, but there's nobody else in the Browns secondary that can have a chance against Jamar Chase. So it will be interesting to see what they do. You can't play man-to-man with anybody else against Jamar Chase. The problem when facing the Bengals, and again, for the Browns it hasn't been that big a problem, is that Higgins is really good too. So it's a tricky thing. I'll be curious to see how the Browns decide to defend it, if they use any changes to what they've been doing. But I'm expecting Jamar Chase to have another big game.
I think Jim Schwartz is the least likely defensive coordinator to change what he's doing. What we've seen from him is what he does.
Yep.
And I think there's a level of arrogance that goes along with that. Nope, this is what we're going to do. You're just going to have to beat it. I think this game is leading up to the perfect storm for the Bengals to break out in a big way their funk against Kevin Stefanski's Browns. For whatever reason, the Taylor-Stefanski matchup it's felt mostly one-sided.
Yeah.
Which has been head-scratching to all of us, because I think in most of these games, most of us would agree that the Bengals have the edge in talent. But somehow the games are close, and the Browns find a way to win, and win some of them big.
Yeah,
but I think
this would be the first time the Bengals will have swept them with Stefanski
if it happens.
Taylor, if it happens.
So, I think that it's late in the season. The level of quit, I think, goes up for those teams that have 3 wins, because it's actually beneficial to lose.
Yeah.
Not that they'd be thinking that way, but they also know that
they're
that's
thinking
the
about
safety
Cancun.
net.
They ain't thinking
Sure
about
they are.
the draft. They're thinking
Sure
about
they are.
Cancun.
But also, as an organization, it doesn't mean anything at all if you win. It can be punitive, or if you lose, it can be punitive if you win. And I think that the Bengals are getting sick and tired of hearing about this, even though they did win the game earlier this year.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow still understands that his record against Cleveland is not great. And because Schwartz probably won't shadow him with Denzel, which is what I think every other defensive coordinator in the league would do.
Yeah.
But he's not going to do that, and I think that Chase is going to have a big game, and I think this one could be the one that's not 24-21. This one could get ugly.
I'm going to tell you what. Listen, it looks like there's no – if you have a competitive game and you lose, there might not be no downside to losing because you want draft position and it's a meaningless game. But I'm going to tell you what. There is some downside if you get blown out. And the Bengals, been hearing, you had Greg Newsome, Emerson, Denzel Ward been chirping, doing all this stuff for 3, 4, 5 years. And if they come out here and get 200 put on them, Martin Emerson is running the slowest he's ever ran, and that's still slow. He's gonna be on T. Higgins, and if they don't shadow him, he's gonna get Jamar Chase. That could be devastating, and I'm expecting the hamstrings to tighten up a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm on the injury list, Jed Wills is calling him right now. Hey, bro. You might want to tell him you make that business decision. You know you got Higgins and Chase coming up late in the season. Don't do it to yourself. It's too close to draft time. They looking at corners and everything. Nah, you go out here and get 60 put on you away. It looks nasty, Jason. It looks. Hey, I'm just saying. The narrative starts. Well, I mean, the Browns and Joe Burrow will continue to pour it on because we've been talking for 2 years. This is the great opportunity to get that get back, and that get back can look crazy, and especially if DTR comes out and looks like a rookie. Like if he gives you one of them 75-yard games with 3 turnovers and shell-shocked, and then you got to go back to Jameis Winston. If you got to go back to Jameis Winston in one game, that makes you look incompetent because they're going to say, why did you even take him out to start with? If DTR knocked out in the third quarter looking crazy, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. That's nasty work. You might not survive that one.
Jason? You got nothing?
What can I
say here?
I mean, I agree with what you guys said. They're not. Jim Schwartz isn't going to change now. 3 games left. He ain't changing 2 years. He ain't changing 10 years, 20 years. He is who he is. He plays the way he plays.
And as good as Joe, I'll tell you a couple of interesting things about the Bengals offense is that are different. Number one, as good as Joe Mixon was, Chase Brown is dynamic.
Yeah, he is.
Since he became the full-time guy, he's been one of the best running backs in the league. He's a great pass catcher. I mean, he's over, 1,150 yards total. But if you look at his numbers, early in the year, he was splitting carries with Zach Moss. And then Zach Moss got hurt. If you look at his numbers since Zach Moss got hurt, they're absurd. He's having a huge game every week. And even though I don't know what Mike Gesicki's numbers are, they're probably not huge. But for the first time since Joe Burrow's been quarterback, they actually have a real option at tight end. Again, Gesicki's not great,
right,
but at least he's like a legitimate NFL tight end.
They use him.
As opposed to the nothings they've had there in the past.
Yeah.
So
I got a question. This is just looking at it from a big picture. How is it that we can sell ourselves on the Browns being competitive when they unequivocally have the third or the last place offense in the division? Like it's not even close.
That's what we do here.
I mean, and the Bengals, they're not world beaters right now. They still are struggling to get to the playoffs. And they got guys that are first in receiving and all kind of. Listen, we look at these.
They have the best offense in the division.
If the Bengals were 8-6, Joe Burrow would be in the MVP conversation. If they were 8-6 instead of 6-8,
he's played as well as an MVP plays.
Right.
I just don't. The talent level on his team, I just don't know how you sell that to somebody. Like I mean.
Would you agree, though, that we fool ourselves a lot?
Oh, we've been lying for weeks.
But I don't think
years.
I think
that's what we do.
The talent was not nearly as good as we thought it was. I don't think it's quite as bad as we think it is now.
No,
it's not quite as bad.
No, but what happens is the mean gets pulled down with the results.
Sure, absolutely.
And I don't know. I'm not tying that to effort, but Jay, you've been in locker rooms where teams are 8-2 and they're probably not that good, but somehow that inertia keeps going. And you've also been in locker rooms where teams are 2-8 and they're not that bad, but somehow that inertia keeps going.
Well, I would say the difference is the talent. You say the talent is not that big of a difference, but these teams have it where it counts. They got the quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah. And they got the coach.
Oh, yeah, the talent on offense.
And the wide receivers.
And the weapons. So it's like, we got a nice guard. We got a nice guard, but they got Lamar Jackson.
We're in a division with 2 Hall of Fame coaches.
Yeah,
and so right off the bat,
maybe 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, maybe
MVPs and guys.
Likely.
Likely.
Right now, their careers are certainly trending that way.
It might be 3 if you count Russ Wilson.
Well,
he's not a Hall of Famer.
Russell's got a Super Bowl. He's going to have to do more.
Does he have MVP?
He's never got an MVP.
No, but there's been a couple years where he was playing in that category.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
If he was in Seattle, he was on that. You couldn't have said he wasn't on that trajectory.
No, but I'll tell you this, and this is, you guys might roll your eyes at this, but if Pittsburgh wins a Super Bowl this year, he's in that conversation.
What you mean?
Probably true.
Which is crazy.
Oh, no,
he shouldn't be because of that, but you're right.
Oh, no, he's in.
Well, 2 with 2 different teams.
Super Bowls.
He's in.
I mean, Eli Manning's in with 2 Super Bowls.
But Eli Manning was a better, and I am anti-Eli Manning Hall of Fame. I'm in the minority there, but Eli Manning was a better quarterback than Russell.
Yes, but perception is reality, and the perception with him would be he took 2 teams to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I know the Denver thing went sideways, but I think that was more a personality clash than it was anything else.
I think his PR is just trash.
Does anybody think Steelers are going to the Super Bowl?
I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't think they.
I'm with him.
so.
I wouldn't rule it out. They would be number 3 on my list of teams that I think from the AFC can get there.
I don't think so.
But they're in the top 3.
Yeah.
So I'm
they
saying
wouldn't
they have a
make my
chance.
top 3.
Who are your top 3 right now?
Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore.
Yeah, see, I just don't
I'd
know
put
about
Pittsburgh over
Baltimore's
Baltimore.
defense.
I put Pittsburgh over
We ain't
Baltimore.
I'm sorry, McNuggets. We ain't never going nowhere. Let me just, we not. Like, I'm sitting here thinking about it. He named the 3 names. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got Josh Allen. You got Lamar Jackson. You got Joe Burrow. You still talk about the Steelers. That's 6 teams right
And
there.
you know C.J. Stroud, who's kind of had a
C.J.
sophomore
Stroud,
slump. He'll bounce back his third year.
Herbert is still a good
Herbert's
quarterback.
still good.
Like, where are you getting?
You got to have that
Bo
guy.
Nix looks like the real deal. It's 1 year, but
where are you getting
And
these?
that's why the Browns did what they did with
Yeah,
Deshaun.
but now you're not taking into account if the Browns have Teddy Bridgewater, that puts us in the conversation.
I mean, because he's going to make that locker room feel way more confident about them 5 wins they get.
For sure.
And do a lot in the community,
I
too.
like a nice Teddy Bridgewater, Jeff Driscoll combo. That's
could
got
work.
me hot.
That
hot
could work.
Bothered, yeah.
Nasty work.
It's never been seen before, so we
Never.
don't know what it
yeah,
would look
you're right,
like.
Jay.
Never.
It's a good